Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star episode number 350 based on novel. So let's start. Get out. The four-hoofed being gave an order, but he was shocked after that. Two beings flew toward Luo Feng from two different directions. The four-hoofed being and Ji-Chi Knight could see clearly that one of the beings who dashed at Luo Feng had a godly body that was more than 300 feet long with dozens of claws. His knees were covered with hair, and the green eye he had on his face was glinting with fierceness and greediness. As for the other, he looked like a human, but he was a bug race. He was lanky with blade-shaped hands. They are in the lead. Ji-Chi Knight opened his eyes wide. They are from the Northern Territory Alliance. Our plan, another knight said anxiously. The four-hoofed being roared, forget the plan. Let's attack him. Three beams of light shot to the sky and flew toward Luo Feng. Both of the Universe Knights from the Northern Territory Alliance were nervous as well. The strange beast knight transmitted his growling voice, it's the bastards from the Thorn Ring Alliance. We were the ones who found Luo Feng first. Don't let them take him. Luo Feng is ours, shouted the lanky knight, clenching his teeth and looking fierce. Luo Feng was the calmest one. He flew leisurely in the sky and saw universe knights of other races flying toward him. He immediately identified them. Kubai Knight and Ba Xiao Knight from the Northern Territory Alliance. Ba Xiao Knight has an enormous godly body, much larger than the body of Flourishing Light Horde leader who I killed before. Flourishing Light Horde leader is around 30 feet tall, but he's over 300 feet tall. But I bet he doesn't have a true treasure armor. I can kill him with one move. Universe Overlords' godly bodies were not much better at defense than senior Universe Knights. Usually, Universe Overlords relied on their true treasure armor. Ordinary true treasure armors were enough when it came to attacks from ordinary Overlords. However, in the case of the World Tree, the Cold Whale, and Purple Rain Knight, ordinary true treasure armors wouldn't help much. Only senior true treasure armors or their better could protect one from being killed after one move. Of course, if one's godly body was over 600 miles long, like that of Golden Horned Beast body, he could survive longer even if he only had an ordinary true treasure armor. But if one didn't have an adequately sized godly body or senior true treasure armor, they would be walking toward their own demise if they were dealing with top-tier universe overlords like World Tree, Cold Whale, Purple Rain Knight, or Luo Feng. Of course, no one alive on the original stars knew of Luo Feng's real power. The only one who knew about it was already dead. They still thought of him as a human-shaped moving treasure vault. Another three? Luo Feng glanced around. Ji-Chi Knight, Juka Knight, and Zanhua Knight from Thorn Ring Alliance. Are they all senior Universe Knights? Well, they are not a threat to me. Luo Feng waved his wing and sped up, starting to flee. He's running away. Don't let him run away. Quick! That direction. Kubai Knight and Ba Xiao Knight from the Northern Territory Alliance grew anxious. Though they were not afraid of the three great beings from the Thorn Ring Alliance, they only had two beings while the Northern Territory Alliance had three. Besides, their power was at the same level. Luo Feng might be seized by the great beings from the Thorn Ring Alliance. Chase him. Hurry up. Let's separate and encircle him. The three knights from the Thorn Ring Alliance went three different ways and tried to outflank Luo Feng. Their speed surged. Both Time Law Domain and Space Law Domain arrived, and they started to stop Luo Feng. Want to run away? Ha ha ha. Luo Feng. You're coming to the original stars for your death. Kubai Knight grinned hideously, and a circle showed up around his hand. He threw it out, and the circle started to bulge. It dashed toward Luo Feng at light speed under the control of godly power. The three Universe Knights from the Thorn Ring Alliance also grew anxious, but they couldn't do anything, as the Universe Knight from Northern Territory Alliance had a spiritual force weapon. Don't worry, that Luo Feng has a spiritual force weapon true treasure, Ji-Chi Knight said. They were relatively farther from Luo Feng, as they had taken off later. That's right. Luo Feng has a spiritual force true treasure weapon. Want to catch me? Luo Feng roared. Luo Feng held his right first, and stars showed up in the sky. All the 1,000 stars had tightly carved engravings on them, and they formed a gigantic beast god under the godly power. The beast god roared and raced toward that circle. The beast god's tail slashed at the circle. The circle bounced away, and it tried to charge Luo Feng again under Kubai Knight's control. It wanted to dodge Beast God, who splashed it away again. Kubai Knight clenched his teeth. No wonder it's a spiritual force weapon, true treasure. It's so powerful. Ha ha ha. You can't run away. Ba Xiao Knight made a rumbling voice and started to stop Luo Feng. Luo Feng turned around. The 3 Universe Knights from the Thorn Ring Alliance also started to approach Luo Feng from 3 different directions. 5 Universe Knights were encircling Luo Feng in the sky, and Luo Feng was like prey trying to flee. He manipulated his spiritual force weapon to resist his enemies. The power from the clash between 2 spiritual force weapons spread. Energy ripple? Fight? It must be a set treasure or a true treasure. Quick, go there. The ripple attracted the great beings in distance, and Luo Feng was still trying to run away like a frightened bird. Quick! Stop him! Ba Xiao Knight transmitted his voice. Beings from Thorn Ring Alliance. We've already attracted attention. Although the knights from other races are still far away from us, the longer we spend here, the more likely those other races will arrive here following the energy ripples. We won't be able to get anything if everyone's here. How about we cooperate with each other? Damn it. The 3 Universe Knights from Thorn Ring Alliance were all nervous, but Luo Feng was too swift. He was able to turn his direction and change his speed at will. And with that spiritual force true treasure weapon, the 5 failed to encircle him. Another reason for the delay was that the beings from the Thorn Ring Alliance and the Northern Territory Alliance were not cooperating. The 4-Hoofed Knight transmitted his voice. Okay, let's cooperate. Let's kill Luo Feng together, and as for his true treasures, we'll see how powerful we are. Okay, Ba Xiao Knight agreed. They wouldn't divide the true treasures equally. After all, they were from different alliances. It would be a joke if they believed in equal distribution. The 5 Universe Knights officially formed an alliance. They started to block Luo Feng from different directions by encircling him. He now had less and less space to change direction. Besides, Kubai Knight and Ji Qi Knight had spiritual force weapons which put Luo Feng in a worse situation. Suddenly, golden, tumbling waves showed up in the sky. They covered an area with a diameter of 19 million miles, enveloping those Universe Knights. It's a domain. It's a domain-type valuable. We can't catch him anymore. Ji Qi Knight shouted with haste. The resistance from the domain is not strong. It might only be a domain-type treasure, not even a top-tier treasure. Quick, catch him! All 5 Universe Knights were stunned by the endless waves, and Luo Feng took the chance to escape their encirclement. However, they quickly found out that the waves didn't have strong resistance, and it wasn't even a top-tier domain-type treasure. If it were a domain-type top-tier treasure, it would have been more valuable than an ordinary true treasure. The resistance is not strong. Catch him! All 5 Universe Knights returned to outflanking Luo Feng. Although the resistance was not strong, it made it much easier for Luo Feng to dodge and stall for him. Ha ha ha! Look! It's the human, Luo Feng. It's Luo Feng. Quick! 3 teams flew from different directions. It was difficult for them to see clearly what was going on in the waves, yet Luo Feng was the one who moved the fiercest and most quickly. Although everything in the waves appeared blurry to them, they could tell which shadow was Luo Feng through the true treasure wing and the beast god formed by spiritual force weapons. The human Luo Feng came here as well. Look, it's the Thorn Ring Alliance. Ha ha ha. And Ba Xiao Knight from the Northern Territory Alliance. No wonder they are trying to encircle him. It's the human, Luo Feng. Quick! Luo Feng has at least 6 true treasures. And one of them is a soul-type true treasure. Go! There were now a total of 8 Universe Knights in 3 teams. They rushed into the golden waves. In the waves from Nine Tiger River, Luo Feng was peaceful inside even though he appeared to be in a panic. Another 8, he thought. From the Demon Alliance, the 9 Territories Alliance, and the Bug Race Alliance. Oh! There's a Universe Overlord among them. Luo Feng nodded. 12 Senior Universe Knights and 1 Universe Overlord. Time to reel them in. Luo Feng finally manifested all his power. He burned his godly power infused in the Nine Tiger River. Gold Law Domain arrived at the same time, merging with the Nine Tiger River. The resistance within the golden waves became much fiercer and denser, as if it had transformed from harmless stream to strong glue. The resistance surged threefold, making it incredibly difficult for the 12 senior universe knights to fly. Nine Tiger River was vast and mighty as it hovered in the area, occupying an area that was tens of millions of miles wide. With Luo Feng's godly power giving it the ultimate boost, especially now that Luo Feng was so highly accomplished in his techniques, merely the secret engraving sculpture of this Nine Tiger River posed no difficulty. He could easily decode the engravings to boost it to its limits. Its mighty power had ridiculously strong pressure, combined with Luo Feng's life gene level that was increased by 9,800 times and his godly power which had been amplified 100 times. If Nine Tiger River were to undergo a complete boost with such conditions, if the 9 great beasts within the Nine Tiger River were to join forces, they could easily annihilate a secondary universe knight. Even if they were to attack as separate entities, one was more than enough to seriously injure a secondary universe knight. Falling into Nine Tiger River, even a senior universe knight would find it arduous to fly or move about. True treasure. It's a domain-type true treasure. That human form Luo Feng hid his true powers earlier on. He concealed the power of this domain-type true treasure. Ji-Chi Knight used voice transmission to communicate with Shukai Knight who was nearby. The four-hoofed Shukai Knight tried his best to make his way to Ji-Chi Knight but found his speed of flight absurdly slow. He used voice transmission out of anxiety, saying, "Why did that human form Luo Feng hide the power of his domain-type true treasure? If he released its power earlier on, he would have been able to escape from us easily. Yet, he didn't. What is his motive?" Ji-Chi Knight and the four-hoofed being were flustered. The sudden surge in power of Nine Tiger River made them feel uneasy. They sensed something amiss. It's a trap. Yes, it must be a trap. We have to leave this domain quickly. Within this domain, the speed we are flying at is laughably slow. If a strong enemy appears, we will be defeated. Hurry. Hurry up. They were not confident, but taking risks on a place like the original star kept the knights of other races vigilant. Every single one had been blinded by their greed into a frenzy as soon as they saw Luo Feng. Out of 13 knights of other races, there were some who were still reluctant to give up or still sought his treasures by seeking his human form. However, for most of them, now that they realized something was amiss, the immediate decision was to leave right away. In the middle of Nine Tiger River, Luo Feng stood in silence with his wings outspread. He had a bird's eye view of the entire Nine Tiger River and knew every move the 13 knights of other races made. Starting to panic, said Luo Feng. Maintaining great vigilance. What a pity. You are too late. Luo Feng grasped the handle of his cutting pearl sword from behind and lightly drew it out. The cold blade met with no obstructions within the waters of the Nine Tiger River. He was in total control because this was Luo Feng's territory. By his side, a golden horned beast that was black all over was also hovering in midair. Golden horned beast body shall stay on the outside to attack while I kill from the inside. Let no one escape. Luo Feng gave his orders silently. God beast, transform. Luo Feng and golden horned beast transformed at the same time. Golden horned beast's hooves and claws grew bigger and bulkier. Its head also changed. Other than its pair of wings, it looked just like a golden beast god. Luo Feng's human form was also changing. His godly body grew slightly taller. Scales began to appear on his skin, and his eyes glowed with a faint tinge of gold. Although his godly power amplification had reached the limit of 100 times under the transformation to a beast god form, he was even more at ease as he carried out a slaughter with the heart of beast god. Kill. Let's begin. Luo Feng made his move and swooped directly at the strongest one of the group trapped in Nine Tiger River, a universe overlord known as Parachopper Knight. Parachopper Knight was the calmest of the group trapped in Nine Tiger River. He was from the Bug Clan Alliance, but he was not originally from the Bug Clan. He did, however, enjoy a most respectable status because he wielded great power. He was skilled in close combat and was very powerful. Plus, his soul was naturally strong in defense. The only weakness he had was that his godly body was small, his height was a mere 2.5 feet. That was why he was very particular about defending his godly body. The most valuable thing on him was none other than a suit of senior true treasure armor. Once he sensed the great surge of power of Nine Tiger River, Parachopper Knight understood what was going on instantly. We have been tricked. It's a trap. Human form Luo Feng was the bait, purposely used to attract our attention to get us to move nearer. His world ring must have universe overlords or equivalent life forms hiding away. The situation is unfavorable to us here. We have got to leave right away. Parachopper Knight held onto a gigantic sword. He sliced through every obstruction in his way and flew off. His speed was the fastest. Parachopper Knight frowned. He sensed that the other races were near. Although he had unsettling feelings, he was not afraid. He did not sense that there were universe masters hidden in Luo Feng's world ring. And if there were no universe masters, common universe overlords did not pose a great threat to him. Within the human race, the most fearsome universe overlord, Heaven Erosion Palace leader, has since been spending his time hidden deep within the human race secret region. He rarely makes appearances. There is no news about Star Prison Devil Master's intentions to enter the original star. So other than 2 or 3 of the most powerful ones, universe overlords from the human race are nothing to fear. Parachopper Knight had just finished analyzing the situation when a golden light appeared before him. Its beauty was so enticing that it was soul-awakening. This golden light came from the blade that sliced through the water surface of Nine Tiger River. Seemingly slowly and with an unrivaled gracefulness, the blade found its way to Parachopper Knight. With widening eyes, Parachopper Knight grew shocked and increasingly furious. He waved his huge sword with all his might, using his strongest skill, arbitration of fate. His huge sword was cast into the air, where it tumbled about in the golden river water. Icy cold, razor-sharp pain erupted as the golden blade hacked right through Parachopper Knight's godly body. This? What swordsmanship is this? He gasped, paralyzed with fear. This is more fearsome than any other universe overlord I have met in a long time. The swordsmanship was so beautiful that it was earth-shattering. It could certainly bring the limit of the path to a whole new level. A new limit of the law. The power of this one strike reached the limit of a senior true treasure armor straight away. Where the true treasure armor was supposed to weaken the impact of attacks to 1/10,000th of their power, this one strike was weakened merely to 1/1000th. In an instant, 62% of Parachopper Knight's godly body was consumed. Barely scraping through this strike, Parachopper was scared out of his wits. Even with my senior true treasure, more than half of my godly body was consumed, he said. Not good. He had no doubt that the next strike would take his life for sure. This poignant golden light from that blade would once again appear before him. Quick, escape! Parachopper Knight transmitted a shrill voice with his godly power. But under the glowing blade's next strike, Parachopper Knight's petite godly body was annihilated in an instant, leaving behind an exquisite true treasure armor that emitted a faint purple light suspended in midair. As for the world ring and huge sword, they had been cast into the distance a moment before. 2 strikes to kill him, thought Luo Feng. Seems like with my ultimate technique of a universe master, those universe overlords with senior true treasure armors will still be able to put up a tough fight. And this time, it was just a small godly body. If his godly body had been as big as the golden horned beasts, no matter how many thousands or tens of thousands of strikes I make, I'm afraid I still wouldn't have been able to kill him. Luo Feng was quick to realize his weak points. His swordsmanship was already very strong, but it barely surpassed the limit of a senior true treasure armor. Senior true treasure armors would still able to provide his enemies with an extremely strong defense. Oh. Starting to panic, said Luo Feng, looking around. Let's continue then. Luo Feng held his cutting pearl sword, his pair of wings spread wide open to form an arc shape as he charged toward another senior universe knight, his next kill. Yes, panic. Out of the 13 knights of other races trapped in Nine Tiger River, when the most powerful of them, Parachopper Knight, knew he was never going to make it past the second strike, his shrill transmission made the rest of the knights crazy with worry. Hurry up and escape. It's a trap. Even Parachopper Knight cannot ward off his strikes. Quickly escape. Ah. It's a great beast. Ah. Piercing shrieks were transmitted throughout Nine Tiger River with godly power as the medium. The aftermath of the fight came in rumbling waves. Compared to Luo Feng's cold, decisive, clean-cut swordsmanship, the golden horned beast was wild with fury, simply unstoppable. Roar? In sync with the looming roars, the hideous black beast god, the armored golden horned beast, lowered his head and charged forward at high speed. With one single collision, the longest horn on his head rammed hard into Ji-Chi Knight's body. Ji-Chi's eyes widened in fear, then, bam! His godly body was annihilated. With only a single top-tier treasure armor on him, there was simply no way he could put up any resistance against such an attack from golden horned beast. It's a trap. That human form of Luo Feng is only bait. There is a strong universe overlord who is much stronger than Parachopper Knight. He is after our lives, hurry. Hateful humans. Bitter and forlorn, sad and shrill, reluctant and begrudging, all sorts of roars rang out. Yet, with his cutting pearl sword in hand, Luo Feng, who had been beast-deified, was cold-blooded as he roamed the sky above the Golden River. His cutting pearl sword cut through the universe knights one at a time. Under the poignant golden light of his blade, senior universe knights were annihilated one by one. Most of them were from other races that did not even have any ordinary true treasure armors. They did not have a shred of hope of warding off Luo Feng's advances. Luo Feng attacked from the inside out, but Golden Horned Beast worked in the opposite direction, attacking from the outside in. There was no way any of the universe knights of other races could escape. It was clear that these senior universe knights were moving at a snail's pace in Nine Tiger River, and the only one who was able to fly at a high speed, Parachopper Knight, had been the first to be exterminated. As for the remaining ones, all hope was lost. The number of knights of other races trapped in Nine Tiger River was consistently dropping. 8, 6, 3, 2, 1. Outside the mighty Nine Tiger River, the battle had attracted the attention of knights of various races who were slightly further away. As many as 6 teams of universe knights were already observing the situation within Nine Tiger River from a distance. Among these 6 teams of knights, there was a total of 15 knights and 1 universe overlord. It's a trap. He's just a bait. Quickly escape. Shrill voices were transmitted via godly power. A multitude of voices were transmitted all over, and the 6 teams of 15 knights of other races watching from a distance could not help but shudder. They watched on from afar. Their view was obscured by the massive river waters, so they could not clearly see what was going on. Yet, they could sense the happenings within Nine Tiger River. In the beginning, there had been a very strong sources of energy, followed by piercing screams and begrudging roars shouting, Luo Feng is bait. It's a trap. Universe overlord. But a fleeting moment later, silence prevailed. All was dead silence. At this point, the 6 teams of knights of other races, all hovering in midair while watching the entire episode from afar, felt a hair-raising horror. They knew every one of the knights trapped in there had lost their lives. A lone figure appeared in the middle of the golden, flowing river. He carried his battle sword on his back with a pair of wings outspread, and he sported a head of black hair. He was scanning the 6 teams of knights from thousands of miles away. At that moment, none of the knights dared make a sound. A gigantic wolf with silver hair was floating in the sky. How brave you are, Luo Feng, it said. You dared to use your own body as bait to attract universe knights to attack you. Then you let a universe overlord out to trigger the domain-type true treasure to trap the knights of other races and slaughter them. He had a godly body of around 6 miles, and he was staring at Luo Feng who stood in the golden waves. Thank you for your compliment, by Fa Knight, Luo Feng said, nodding good-naturedly. By Fa Knight would be more difficult to deal with than Parachopper Knight, whom he just killed. First of all, By Fa Knight was actually from the demon race, and he had more true treasures. Besides, By Fa Knight had a much larger godly body. It would take more time to kill him. By Fa Knight growled in anger. Which universe overlord was it? It must not be an ordinary universe overlord if he can kill Parachopper Knight that easily. Which one? Heaven Erosion Palace Leader? World Tree? Star Prison Devil Master? Any one of you has a great reputation. I respect all of you, but shame on you for using this Luo Feng as bait to attract and slaughter us. As By Fa Knight's voice resounded through space, Luo Feng couldn't help smiling. Heaven Erosion Palace Leader, World Tree, and Star Prison Devil Master. Interesting guesses. There were quite a few universe overlords within the human race, but most of them were at the ordinary level like By Fa Knight and Chi Blood Palace Leader, as humans were only ordinary life forms. World Tree, Star Prison Devil Master, and Heaven Erosion Palace Leader had unique experience and clone techniques, which was why they stood at the top among the universe overlords. Under normal circumstances, the number of top-tier universe overlords was equal to that of universe masters within each alliance. There were more than 10 universe masters within the human race, but there were only 3 top-tier universe overlords, and it was because humans were only ordinary life forms. As for the Ancestral God School, which gathered a large number of special life forms, it had more top-tier universe overlords. Also, the Northern Territory Alliance had numerous races and quite a few top-tier universe overlords. The universe knights of other races were secretly discussing things among themselves, felt that the entire situation was unfair. This is outrageous. Such a demeaning thing to do. The human race is a pinnacle race, and it's shameless of any of them to do such a thing. Those knights would have avoided universe overlords if they saw him, but nobody expected them to play such a move, using Luo Feng as bait. Though the universe knights of other races were furious, they all remained in the distance, as they could leave instantly. World Tree? Star Prison Devil Master? The Silver by Fa Knight was still shouting. Heaven Erosion Palace Leader? He seemed to be trying to force the mysterious being show himself. By Fa Knight, none of them is here, Luo Feng said with a smile, stepping on the golden waves. I'm the only one here. Only you? The Silver Wolf grinned. The other 15 knights assembled all shook their heads. They had all heard the shrill scream of a strange beast, and it clearly came from a top-tier universe overlord who could fight in the shape of a beast. Which universe overlord is it? Show yourself, the Silver Wolf shouted again. The golden waves disappeared. Luo Feng broke into laughter. By Fa Knight, I've already told you. Only me. You dare to do something shameless like this even after gaining your reputation, said By Fa Knight. Such a deceitful human. By Fa Knight, do you want to die? Luo Feng shouted. He dashed at By Fa Knight like a beam of silver light, and By Fa Knight quickly sped up and flew away. He knew that he needed to stay away from that human Luo Feng. Otherwise, he would be trapped in the domain if Luo Feng let out that domain-type true treasure. He was as powerful as Parachopper Knight. Go! Go! Other universe knights followed By Fa Knight and flew away. Luo Feng stopped and looked at the universe knights of the other races running away in fright, and he chuckled. I wanted to have an actual conversation with you guys. Since you're not interested, I have to leave now. He flew away and stopped chasing those knights. By Fa Knight growled. He dared to be so rampant and arrogant. He's nothing if he doesn't have that top-tier universe overlord with him. And he would have been ripped into pieces if he acted alone. It was shocking that 13 universe knights of other races had been killed by Luo Feng. After all, under normal circumstances, only 1 or 2 universe knights would be killed if a single ordinary true treasure was born. And only senior true treasures or even top-tier true treasures could lead to such a massive quantity of deaths. Inside the towering palace of the Thornring Alliance, Ji Knight stood at the bottom of the palace with veneration. He was one of the universe knights who had been killed. Universe Master. Ji said an indifferent voice. You said that 13 universe knights were killed? Yes, answered Ji Knight. Among the 13 universe knights who got killed, there was a being from our alliance, the Bug Race Alliance, the Northern Territory Alliance, the Demon Alliance, and the 9 Territories Alliance. And one of them was a universe overlord from the Bug Race Alliance. I am the only one who has a clone technique, which is why I reported what happened instantly. As for other alliances, they may not have gotten the news yet. Who did it? The indifferent voice asked. Star Prison Devil Master? Heaven Erosion Palace Leader? World Tree? It's a black, strange beast, and he's terrifically powerful, answered Ji Knight. He must be a great being following the path of Gold Beast God. Besides, that strange beast is a high achiever on the path of Gold Beast God, and his power is close to that of a beast god. I was killed instantly. Beast God path? Is it Star Prison Devil Master? But he doesn't follow the path of Gold Beast God. The voice sounded confused. I'm certain that it was a black, strange beast, Ji Knight continued. His attacking technique is mysterious and far superior to mine. You think that black, strange beast could really kill Parachopper Knight? Yes, he can. Ji Knight nodded. I won't have been that helpless even if Parachopper tried to kill me himself. However, I wasn't even able to defend myself against that black, strange beast. I was killed after only 1 attack. I felt that the strange beast didn't even utilize all his power. He could surely kill Parachopper Knight if he wants. Weird. When did the human race have a strange beast knight? The voice sounded baffled. A being walked down. It was a female universe master wearing purple armor with hundreds of horns on her head. She looked seductive yet apathetic, which intimidated Ji Knight. It was Piercing Heart Master from the Thornring Alliance, who was in charge of many issues within the Thornring Alliance. Her level of authority within the Thornring Alliance was equivalent to Primal Chaos City leader of the Hong Alliance. Strange, Piercing Heart Master whispered. Is it Luo Feng who's on the path of Gold Beast God? That doesn't make sense either, as Luo Feng's still weak. Even if he becomes a universe knight, he still has low law comprehension, and he should be at the 4th or 5th level of the beast god path. He can't even create the ultimate techniques of universe overlords with such low law comprehension. Ji Knight nodded. It's definitely not Luo Feng. Whether he has become a universe knight or not, he doesn't have such law comprehension. That's right. There's no news from Redbud Island telling us that he received a beast god inheritance. Piercing Heart Master frowned. Could it be that Primal Chaos City leader arranged a supreme being to protect his disciple? There are hidden supreme beings within the human race? Ji Knight murmured. Piercing Heart Master glanced at him. No. There are only 3 top-tier universe overlords within the human race, but there are more in the Hong Alliance. Ji Knight now understood. Though the Hong Alliance was an alliance centered around the human race, many great beings from other races were also members. Ji Knight couldn't help asking, Universe Master, are you going to deal with them? A top-tier universe overlord used such a demeaning move to trap us. Top-tier universe overlords are almost as powerful as universe masters, and he was basically slaughtering us. How? Piercing Heart Master chuckled. You claim it was he who slaughtered you? On the contrary, you encircled him because of greed and were slaughtered as a result. If a universe master or a top-tier universe overlord goes to the original stars and slaughters groups of great beings deliberately, it would lead to public outrage. However, nobody can say anything if you provoke them in the first place. The news of the slaughter spread like wildfire, but none of the powers treated it seriously. To them, it was just a group of knights who had foolishly gotten themselves killed because of their greed. Besides, no other powers knew who this top-tier universe overlord was, aside from the Thornring Alliance. After all, the task of reviving senior universe masters would be distributed to a universe master. Inside the Hong Alliance palace, 6 palace leaders sat on the thrones, talking and laughing. Interesting. Interesting, indeed. They wanted to kill Luo Feng, yet they all got killed. Primal Chaos City leader, you must have arranged this. Without your arrangement, what top-tier universe overlord would be willing to stay in Luo Feng's world ring? Tell us, which universe overlord is it? We haven't figured that out yet. Primal Chaos City leader was smiling, but he was also baffled. He didn't know either. Has Luo Feng become friends with a top-tier universe overlord? Primal Chaos City leader wondered. This video will end here.